This is an incredibly imaginative and surreal scenario. Let's break down the potential reactions across the categories you've outlined. Geopolitical reactions. Immediate global crisis. The disappearance of essential infrastructure like bathrooms, kitchens, and stairs would trigger immediate and widespread chaos. Daily life would grind to a halt. Governments would be in emergency mode trying to understand what happened and how to respond. Lunar land grab of sorts. The appearance of a Vatican flag, Congo, Bhutan, and Bolivia on the moon would create an unprecedented international legal and political nightmare. Existing space law doesn't cover the sudden relocation of entire territories and populations, even if they are clones. US-Vatican relations collapse. The US, having been about to land on the moon, would likely view the Vatican's actions as an extreme provocation and a violation of international norms, even if they weren't established for this specific situation. Accusations of theft and potentially even acts of war could be on the table, though the practicality of such actions is questionable. UN Security Council implodes. The UN would be thrown into utter disarray. Resolutions would be meaningless in the face of such an unbelievable event. The presence of Congo and Bhutan on the moon, seemingly without their consent, assuming the clones don't count, would raise serious questions of sovereignty. New power dynamics. The Vatican, seemingly possessing technology far beyond their known capabilities, would suddenly become a major, albeit bizarre, global power. Their control over essential infrastructure, even if on the moon, gives them immense leverage. Space Race 2.0 with a twist. Instead of reaching the moon first for scientific or ideological reasons, nations would now be scrambling to understand the Vatican's technology and potentially gain access to the moon or even their own relocated infrastructure. Psychological reactions. Mass disbelief and panic. The initial reaction worldwide would be utter disbelief, followed by widespread panic as the implications of a missing infrastructure become clear. Existential crisis. The sheer impossibility of the event would shake the foundations of human understanding of reality and the laws of physics. Men would question their sanity. Religious interpretations go wild. This event would be interpreted through countless religious lenses. Some might see it as a divine act, others as the work of a devil, and new cults would likely emerge trying to make sense of it all. The surreal becomes reality. The image of clones of historical figures playing video games on the moon would be deeply unsettling and surreal, blurring the lines between reality and fiction. The constant streaming would add another layer of bizarre public access to this unbelievable situation. Shifting perceptions of power. The traditional understanding of national power would be upended. A religious institution with a secret space program suddenly holds immense, albeit strange, power. Civilian reactions. Immediate hardship. Daily life would become incredibly difficult without basic infrastructure. Sanitation, cooking, and even moving between floors would be major challenges. Social unrest and potential breakdown of order. The lack of essential services could lead to widespread social unrest, looting, and potentially a breakdown of law and order in many areas. Mass migration within Earth. People might try to move to areas less affected or with more resourceful communities. Dependence on the Vatican in a twisted way. Ironically, the world might become dependent on the Vatican for access to their relocated infrastructure, creating a bizarre form of global servitude. Intense fascination and obsession. The constant stream from the moon would likely become a global obsession, with everyone trying to understand the motives and activities of the lunar inhabitants. Major figures' reactions. The Pope, Earth. His reaction would be crucial and highly unpredictable. He might claim divine intervention, deny knowledge, or try to negotiate with his lunar clones. This could lead to a major schism within the Catholic Church. US President, like outrage, demanding answers and potentially considering military action, though against what and how. They would face immense pressure to restore order and understand the situation. Leaders of Congo and Bhutan, Earth, utter confusion and likely demanding their territories and citizens if the clones can't be returned. They would have no real leverage. UN Secretary General would likely call for emergency meetings, but the UN's authority would be severely undermined by the sheer scale and impossibility of the event. Other world leaders, a mix of disbelief, fear, opportunism, and frantic attempts to understand the situation and protect their own citizens. Major and minor powers reactions. Major powers, USA, China, Russia, EU, would likely focus on intelligence gathering, trying to understand the Vatican's technology and intentions. They might also initiate their own crash programs to reach the moon and potentially reclaim their infrastructure. Tensions between these powers could escalate dramatically. Minor powers would be large at the mercy of the major powers and the Vatican. They might seek alliances or try to negotiate for access to the moon. Religious reactions. Catholic Church. As mentioned, a major schism is possible depending on the Pope's Earth reaction and the actions of the lunar Vatican. Different factions would offer wildly different interpretations. Other religions would likely interpret the event through their own theological frameworks, leading to diverse and potentially conflicting explanations. Some might see it as a sign of the apocalypse, others as a new year. Rise of new religious movements. The sheer absurdity of the event could lead to the emergence of new cults and religions centered around the lunar Vatican, the cloned figures, or the mysterious technology involved. Ideological reactions. Challenge to materialism and science. The event would severely challenge traditional materialist and scientific worldviews. The apparent violation of the laws of physics would force a re-evaluation of fundamental understandings. Rise of conspiracy theories. Countless conspiracy theories would emerge, trying to explain the real reasons behind the event and who was truly responsible. Re-evaluation of power structures. The traditional understanding of political, economic, and military power would be fundamentally disruptive. A religious institution suddenly wields unimaginable power. Possible timeline of events. Day 1. The Great Disappearance. Global panic and chaos. News of a Vatican flag on the moon reaches Earth. Governments convene emergency meetings. Week 1. Intense speculation and investigation. The Vatican Earth issues a statement likely vague and potentially contradictory to the lunar Vatican's actions. First attempts to communicate with the moon. Month 1. The reality of the missing infrastructure sets in. Humanitarian crises emerge. The streaming from the moon becomes a global phenomenon. Nations begin formulating plans to respond. Year 1. Some basic infrastructure is jury-rigged on Earth. International tensions surrounding the moon escalate. Attempts to land on the moon by other nations are either blocked or met with bizarre encounters with the lunar Vatican. Debates about lunar sovereignty and the status of the cloned territories rage. Years 2-5. The world adapts to a new, surreal reality. The Vatican moon becomes a strange, powerful entity. The streaming continues, offering a bizarre glimpse into the lives of the cloned figures. New technologies and social structures emerge in response to the changed world. The question of the purpose and implications of the Vatican's actions remains a central mystery. This scenario is so outlandish that the actual reactions would likely be even more unpredictable and bizarre than described above. It's a thought experiment that highlights the fragility of our infrastructure and the potential for true unimaginable events to reshape our world.